Seoul, South Korea. A storm is brewing in the global K-pop industry as millions of fans demand answers from HYBE Corporation, accusing the powerhouse agency of sidelining Kim Taehyung, better known as V of BTS. The phrase "justice for V" has trended across social media platforms worldwide, reflecting mounting frustration over what many see as unequal treatment of the star. The controversy began with growing concerns among ARMY, BTS's massive global fandom, who noticed disparities in promotional activities. While Taehyung has become a prominent figure at luxury fashion shows and campaigns, fans argue that his music and collaborations have not received the same level of support. "We love his presence on the runway, but his artistry deserves more than fashion alone," said a fan collective in Brazil. HYBE has yet to release a formal statement, but the silence has only intensified suspicion. For many fans, the company's lack of response is interpreted not as strategy but as avoidance. "Silence feels like confirmation," wrote one fan on Twitter/X, echoing a sentiment that has spread rapidly through international fan communities. Cultural analysts argue that the issue reflects a broader tension within the entertainment industry. "Fans are no longer passive consumers," said Professor Lee Ji-hoon from Yonsei University. "They are active stakeholders in their idols' careers. When they sense inequality, their collective pressure becomes impossible to ignore." The stakes are high for HYBE, which relies heavily on BTS's reputation as both a cultural and financial powerhouse. Analysts warn that prolonged controversy could impact investor confidence and international partnerships. According to Seoul Economic Daily, HYBE's stock value has already shown signs of fluctuation since the campaign for Taehyung gained global traction. Meanwhile, ARMY's activism has spilled far beyond digital platforms. Fan groups have funded billboards in major cities, including New York, Seoul, and Tokyo, with messages demanding fairness. Petitions calling for transparency in HYBE's treatment of Taehyung have attracted hundreds of thousands of signatures, illustrating the scale of the movement. At the heart of the debate lies Taehyung himself, who remains silent in the face of speculation. Fans have revisited past interviews where he hesitated when asked about artistic freedom, interpreting his words as veiled signs of constraint. Each appearance is now scrutinized, each pause dissected, as supporters search for clues about his true situation. The controversy has also reignited long-standing debates about slave contracts in the K-pop industry. While South Korea has introduced reforms in recent years, critics argue that the system remains deeply imbalanced, with agencies holding disproportionate power over artists. The Taehyung case symbolizes the gap between global fame and personal freedom, noted Dr. Amanda Liu, a cultural scholar at UCLA. For fans, the issue is both emotional and principled. Beyond their love for Taehyung, they see this as a question of respect and fairness. "This isn't just about one artist," said a Japanese fan interviewed by NHK. "It's about how every idol deserves to be valued for their talent, not just their image." As the movement grows, pressure mounts on HYBE to address the accusations. Whether the agency chooses to break its silence or remain behind closed doors, one thing is certain. The call for justice for V has become a global phenomenon, and the world is waiting for an answer. Industry observers caution that HYBE's handling of the controversy could shape its long-term legacy. Once praised for revolutionizing K-pop and breaking into Western markets, the company now risks being remembered for silence in the face of one of its biggest crises. "The reputation cost could be greater than any short-term financial hit," explained Han Seo-jun, an entertainment market analyst in Seoul. For BTS, the issue is even more delicate. As the group remains on hiatus with members focusing on solo projects during mandatory military service, fans continue to see them as inseparable. Any perception that one member is being sidelined undermines the group's unity, a cornerstone of their identity. If Taehyung is left behind, BTS's image as Seven Equals is shattered, one US-based fan argued. Globally, the scandal has reignited criticism of the K-pop industry's management model. From contract restrictions to lack of artistic freedom, the spotlight is now firmly on how agencies balance profit and creativity. International commentators are drawing parallels between Taehyung's situation and wider issues of labor rights in entertainment, suggesting that the case may become a watershed moment for reform. Meanwhile, international brands tied to HYBE and BTS are quietly monitoring the situation. Luxury fashion houses that have partnered with Taehyung may find themselves caught between celebrating his influence and navigating the controversy. Marketing experts warn that if public anger persists, some brands could reassess partnerships to avoid reputational fallout. Despite the storm, ARMY's commitment to Taehyung remains unshaken. Their campaigns are not only about demanding fairness but also about showing him that he is not alone. From digital billboards in London to street protests in Seoul, the movement has transformed into a global show of loyalty that underscores the evolving power of fandoms in shaping corporate accountability. What happens next may define the future of both HYBE and Kpop. Will the company acknowledge fans' concerns, or continue with silence that has already cost them trust? As the world watches, the call for justice for V grows louder each day, a reminder that in the modern music industry, fans hold more power than ever before. In the end, the controversy surrounding Kim Taehyung is more than just a clash between an artist and his agency. It is a reflection of a changing world, where fans no longer accept silence as an answer and where corporate power is measured not only in profits but also in trust. HYBE's decision to remain quiet has become its sharpest liability, turning silence into a weapon that cuts its own reputation. For ARMY, the campaign is about more than defending an idol. It is about protecting the humanity behind the fame. Their message is clear: talent deserves respect, and no artist should be treated as disposable. Each day that passes without clarity only strengthens their determination, proving that loyalty, when tested, can transform into resistance. As the world continues to watch, one question lingers unanswered. Will HYBE acknowledge the call for fairness, or will its silence define this chapter of K-pop history? For millions, the demand remains the same: justice for V. In recent weeks, the controversy has only intensified. Social media platforms continue to be flooded with demands for clarity, while international outlets are dedicating full coverage to the story. Analysts say the sheer persistence of the movement demonstrates the maturity and organization of ARMY as a fandom. What began as scattered frustrations has now transformed into one of the most coordinated fan-led accountability campaigns in modern entertainment. Local media in Seoul report that even lawmakers and cultural officials are beginning to take note. While no formal investigations have been announced, the growing attention could trigger renewed scrutiny into entertainment contracts and labor practices within South Korea's cultural sector. The Taehyung case may push the government to re-examine regulations on artist management, said one cultural policy advisor, suggesting that systemic reform may not be far off. The global spotlight has also begun to shift toward other K-pop groups. Fans from different fandoms have expressed solidarity with ARMY, citing similar frustrations with how their idols are treated by management. This widening conversation signals that the scandal may have opened the door to a broader reckoning within the industry, one that extends far beyond HYBE and BTS. Yet through all the noise, Taehyung himself has remained silent. Each appearance at public events is dissected in detail, from his body language to his choice of words. Supporters interpret his quiet resilience as a form of strength, while critics question whether he is free to speak openly. His silence, much like HYBE's, has become both a mystery and a message, leaving room for speculation while deepening the emotional connection with fans.